Hey Vault Dwellers, JV here sharing the latest Wastelanders info from Bethesda. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 videos just like this. On Friday, we got two new posts on Bethesda.net. First, announcing that the Wastelanders update will be getting a private test server, and that's coming soon, along with an Inside the Vault, which focuses on January updates, but also gives us more insight into Wastelanders. Both of these articles provide some new important information, so we're going to dive into each of them. And as always, these articles are linked in the description below if you'd like to read them out for yourselves. Starting with the Wastelanders PTS article announcement, we want you to join us in Appalachia to prepare for the arrival of Wastelanders. Starting January 17th, this Friday, we will be inviting a small number of Fallout 76 community members to experience an early version of Wastelanders. During this time, we're looking for you to try out the new content, provide your feedback, and report the issues you experience in a PTS. As we'll see later on in the article, the opt-in date cutoff is tomorrow, so I'm sure invites will be going out starting after tomorrow. Currently, we're only looking for a few hundred players to join us in playtesting. While this means that not everyone who opts in will be selected, we wanted to ensure that as many of our most active and experienced community members as possible have the chance to opt in for consideration. Not that I really deserve to be included in this stress test, but once I saw most active community members, I was like, there goes my shot. But in any case, a few hundred players is really tiny. It just goes to show this is nothing like the Break It Early test application for Fallout 76 on launch, where they had those rolling server times. This is not a stress test for the servers to make sure those are stable. This is a bug testing, period for Wastelanders. They're just trying to make sure this thing is as stable and bug-free as possible. If you play Fallout 76 on PC and would like to sign up, please click the link below and fill in your account details before the opt-in period ends at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, January 14th. Just wanted to include that in there. If you guys play the game and you're on PC, make sure you opt in before that date if you want to test Wastelanders early, which would be an awesome opportunity. Onto some details for the private test server. It's PC only. Unfortunately, if you play this game on consoles, you won't be able to participate in the PTS before the update. And invited players will be required to complete an NDA before installing. So you can't share, stream, record, or discuss anything from the experience on the PTS. While I would never suggest that people break NDA, I wasn't born yesterday and neither was Bethesda. I am sure they expect people to leak this stuff. I mean, a few hundred people, it's hard to keep that many people accountable. You also don't know who has ulterior motives. Even if they have played the game a lot, and even if they are super active, they may want to leak this stuff. So if you really care about the story, the potential of Wastelanders, then very much I suggest steer clear. Unless I'm misremembering, people absolutely broke the NDA in the pre-beta testing phase of Fallout 76. That stuff was absolutely on the subreddit, and so I'm sure that'll be happening this time around. And I may cover leaks just because that's part of my job description, but if I do, I will give you guys a huge warning, a huge heads up, and I won't spoil anything in a title or a thumbnail, I promise. PTS playtesting will take place on an in-development Wastelanders build, and you should expect to encounter issues during gameplay. Please report any bugs you find to us so we can investigate them. That's pretty straightforward. And then this is a private test server reserved for Wastelanders. It is separate from our upcoming public test server, which is still under development. I had completely forgot about their public test server, which is almost always a good idea. I guess you would have thought it would have come sooner rather than, 15 months after launch, but in any case, it's still a good thing. Any progress you make will be saved so that you can pick up right where you left off every time you access the Wastelanders PTS. However, due to the nature of testing, it may become necessary for us to wipe all PTS progress, but we'll let you know if we do this ahead of time. And additionally, your progress in the PTS will not transfer to the live version of the game when Wastelanders is released. This is exactly the same case for the beta. I remember distinctly being disappointed because I spent so much time in the beta, but all along I knew that they were not going to let us transfer it over and that they could wipe it at any point. Aside from occasional downtime for maintenance, invited players will be able to access the Wastelanders PTS at all times after January 17th until we bring the PTS offline at a later date. We will evaluate what adjustments and fixes we can implement for the Wastelanders update based on your feedback and bug reports, and what we'll need to wait for a follow-up patch. Big takeaway here for me is that this will be up at all times. It's not going to be a rolling server up and down situation like we had with the beta before Fallout 76. So again, this tells me a few things. First off, it maximizes the potential for leaks because people will have all the time in the world to leak it if they want to. On the plus side, this maximizes the amount of time that those few hundred players can get their hands on, discover bugs, and report them to Bethesda. So I think there's definitely some pluses and minuses to the fact that this is up at all times. Shifting over to the Inside the Vault article, there's a lot of repeat information towards the beginning about the Wastelanders PTS, but there's one little bit that I wanted to highlight. Starting January 17th, a few hundred of those opted in will be selected to join the PTS. At that time, invited players will gain full access to the Wastelanders update. Now, I know we're arguing semantics here, but gain full access to me can read as this is the entire Wastelanders update. And some of you may have expected that, but also there was a remote possibility, at least in my mind, that this was just a chunk of Wastelanders that they were allowing people to test early. We do know it's an early development build, so usually when developers give players something like that to play early, they know there are some issues there and they're just confirming that bias and double checking themselves. If it turns out that hundreds of players report one thing like, oh, we noticed this change and we like it or we don't like it, that tells Bethesda that they made the right decision or the wrong decision. To me, you really don't have to read between the lines for gain full access. Full access means you have 100% access 100% of the time, and it's the full Wastelanders update, but in an early development form. So I believe this is going to be the full thing, which again, just warning here, if you don't want story spoilers, do not go seeking for them because you'll find them. Skipping ahead just a bit, Bethesda talks about an update that's coming tomorrow. We're working full steam ahead on Wastelanders, which will be the biggest update we've ever released for Fallout 76 so far. As a result, we need to make a few behind-the-scenes preparations for the base game so that it's ready when we release Wastelanders later in Q1. To do this, we're planning to roll out a new update tomorrow, Tuesday, January 14th. There it is, our updated release window, later Q1. So again, more semantics talk here. If we're talking about what later in Q1 means, to me, it's March. It's gotta be March, or at least the back half of Q1, which is after February 15th. If early Q1's January, mid Q1 is March or February, and then late Q1 is March. So I am projecting March is when we'll see Wastelanders come out for real. I'm sounding like a broken record here, but this further confirms what I'm saying about leaks. We're gonna have like 45 days probably of time between the PTS and it coming out. Be careful. I wanted to share this final tidbit from the article. This patch may seem minor, but it will not contain many gameplay adjustments for the current version of Fallout 76, but it is necessary prep work. It will include a few fixes for some cosmetic items that we managed to squeeze in, since doing so did not affect our ongoing work on Wastelanders content. This patch will require some downtime on Tuesday and we'll be providing patch notes, but we wanted to let you know that the list of changes will be shorter than usual. Wastelanders will not only contain new content for you to explore and conquer, but it will also include fixes and improvements for issues that currently exist in the base game. Additionally, in patches that follow, we plan to return to the larger updates that you've come to expect. My biggest worry since Wastelanders was announced last year at E3 was, okay, great, but the base game needs work. It really does. There are issues there that need to be addressed. Whether they affect you or not, they're affecting many players. And so that is a big thing. I just need the base game to be lifted up to a more acceptable level of stability, performance, and standard of quality that was absolutely not there on launch for Fallout 76. And I think that's where a lot of players are going to be. If they're going to return to Fallout 76 for Wastelanders, and you open that thing up, it's not immediately, gratifying. Wastelanders doesn't just blow you away. You're not going to keep playing if you still keep running into the issues that drove you away from 76 in the first place. At least that's how I see a lot of players, including myself, reacting if that happens. Some closing thoughts. I think what I'm most excited for in Wastelanders, outside of reintroducing narrative consequence, hopefully, and choices and decisions through dialogue with NPCs and the quest lines, I hope that the rest of the game is lifted up to a higher quality, a higher level and standard. That is what I think will make the real difference with Wastelanders. In the comment section below, tell me, will you be seeking out leaked information for Wastelanders? Do you not care about the narrative in the story, or are you avoiding at all costs? Share your plans below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss another video. Check the description for links to my social media and to my community Discord server. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.